All right, welcome back to the show. As always, I encourage you to reach out and get advice. How do you do that? You go to craigsowing.com. There's a contact form. When you fill that out, it comes directly to me. This past week on our radio show, we covered a lot of things from politics to the financial market to real estate. And on the radio show, we really engage our audience to reach out and ask their questions. I want to give you a couple examples of ones we got this week and share with you today. So let's get to our first one. Craig, I saw that mortgage rates have dropped. When does it make sense to refinance? This came from Jan out at Chula Vista. Well, it is Saturday morning, Jan, so whatever rates were yesterday or when you saw them, the market's closed, and they're going to be different when they open up on Monday. The most important thing you can know about interest rates is they move with the market. So often consumers try and shop for the best mortgage rate. You talk to multiple lenders and see who's got the lowest rate. If they're moving day to day, even hour to hour at times, how can someone really quote you the lowest rate? So it really comes down to finding someone that you trust, asking them questions, getting testimonials, learning their experiences. And once you trust them and they give you tailored advice that you believe in, you got to let them just do their job, and they'll lock you in when it's appropriate. That's the best advice I can give you when it comes to locking in your interest rates. Now, when does it make sense to refinance? There's an old myth that you need to drop your mortgage rate 1% to refinance. That's silly. Anytime you can enhance your financial life. If you're lowering the rate a little bit, maybe you're knocking some years off your mortgage, which is reducing interest. Maybe you're paying off credit card debts, or maybe you're pulling out money and doing home improvements and building equity in your house. So it really, really depends on what your short and long-term goals are. But if you think that you got to drop the rate 1%, that is an old myth, and I do not believe in it. It all comes down to the numbers which a good mortgage guy is going to, or gal, is going to give to you. All right, let's get to another one we got earlier this week from our radio show on KCBQ. Craig, in your opinion, will the presidential election affect the market? How about housing? Does it matter who's president? Usually when you go into a presidential season, the market stabilizes a bit, which is really interesting. We're about 15 months away, so we got some time here. It's a little bit of a circus, I think you can agree, whether you're a Democrat or Republican. But usually you see it kind of calm down in anticipation of who that president's going to be. And yeah, it really does matter. I mean, if Bernie Sanders, who's pretty much a socialist, were president versus Donald Trump, you're going to see policies that are much more capitalistic versus much more socialistic. And that's going to affect our jobs market. That's going to affect our bond market, which goes to interest rates and mortgages. It's certainly going to affect housing and employment. So yeah, it really does matter. And you got to determine when you go to vote, what are the most important issues for you? Is it the economy? Is it immigration? Is it the war on terror? Is it social issues? And that's how you got to vote. But does the President of the United States affect housing? Actually, yeah, it really does. I wouldn't say that Obama's helped the housing market or Bush caused it to crash, but the decisions of a president, the leader, and the way that Fed reacts to some of these things, yeah, it's all tied to our economy, and it certainly does affect housing. But how? I don't have a crystal ball. It's tough to really predict that one as well. But great questions that we got from our radio show this week. Of course, here we're on TV this morning. If you have questions, make sure you do reach out to us online and ask away, and I will get back to you, I promise you, before the end of the day. All right, so we've already talked about politics. We've talked about the financial market. We've talked about the silver hair tsunami. We've talked about life insurance, mortgage rates. We got to get to real estate. Real estate is your biggest investment. I talk about it quite often as far as numbers, equity growth, tax advantages, but let's not forget, when you buy a home, this is a place you're going to live, you're going to raise your family, build memories, be in a community. So important for you and your family and your neighborhood, and certainly the overall economy right here of San Diego. Not a better person to bring in here to help us better understand what's happening in our housing market than someone I call the Queen of North County, Mary Maloney. Good to have you on the show. How are you?
Thank you. It's good to be here.
So Mary is known for working hard, playing hard.
Work hard, play harder.
Yeah, just put you on the spot. Plays
Yeah.
golf, has events, but real estate is a relationship business.
Absolutely.
And you guys really adhere to that from the agents you have on your team, all the fun you guys have. And
Yeah.
certainly, I mean, your client appreciation parties are one of a kind.
Yes.
And you film them all.
Of course.
Yeah, but
Of course, we're our
you have a
own
lot of
show.
fun. So let's talk about housing, right?
Yeah.
So you're also a top producer. You have a huge team underneath you, very well respected in the North County market, even though I know you guys can cover all of San Diego.
Right.
What do you think of housing? Earlier we saw a 100-question survey from Fannie Mae. Little daunting, right? You tell
100
me.
questions is way too much.
Yeah, I don't care what it's about.
I don't care what it's
Yeah.
about. It could be biology test or what do you think of housing? A consumer is going to jump out of that
Yeah,
after the first 5
cross-eyed.
questions.
Yep.
I agree with you. I do think politics is going to play a lot in it moving forward. I think we're in for a good housing market over the next 5 years. That's what we're hearing. Obviously, everything is cyclical. But here in San Diego, we are pretty blessed that we have a great economy, we have good business, we have great industry. And so San Diego is very attractive. At the same time, we're also an island. And we have desert, ocean, Mexico, and Camp Pendleton. So there's only so much land to go around. So it's going to keep housing very attractive in San Diego. We're seeing builders back. Having Bill Davidson on was great. And with that comes a lot of turn.
Do you think the builders are keeping up? Because there's low inventory isn't even something to talk about anymore. I mean, it's become the norm for years now, right? So it's almost like, you know, the old adage is that for 6 months is a normal market, and that means 6 months of supply. If no new homes came on the market, it would take 6 months for all the buyers to absorb it. That's a balanced market. We're at like 2 to 3 months, which you would call it a seller's market. But the low inventory seems to be here. I don't understand why it's not open. First of all, do you think it's going to open up at all? Let me ask you that.
Well, you know, we're seeing the typical seasonal slowing that we always see right now.
Okay.
Relocation.
Because of the harsh winter here in San Diego?
Yeah, you know,
it's so rough.
All that snowfall that we get. But relocation has already made their major move.
Okay.
Or they've moved into a leasing situation to get enrolled in school. So once that happens, now we're left with the move up, move down, make a lateral move buyer that you and I talk about all the time that tends to get distracted a little bit at this time of year. So also you've got your sellers on the market that were looking to make a want move, not a need. So if they wanted to make a move, they're now taking their homes off the market. School started, they're now distracted. I don't want to deal with it. AYSO is starting. Oh, it's back to school night. You know, then it's Halloween.
It's a big decision.
It's Thanksgiving, it's Christmas. We're going to wait till spring and we'll try again.
And that's why it usually picks up at those times of year, even though San Diego doesn't have the seasonal changes like we see across the country. I understand why people in Missouri in the winter don't go buy a house, right? Which is where I'm from, which is where you're from.
Yes.
It's not fun to shop for a house when there's 2 feet of snow. San Diego, it's always kind of mind-boggling, but it's seasonal, it's school season, holidays, and you put these things on the side. But there's a lot of opportunities. All housing markets are local. Now, you are located up in North County, just doing major things up there, major production numbers, great team. We did an awesome segment out at the convention center outside the Tom Ferry event last time with your guys. What's happening there? What's happening in that market?
So just like everywhere else, we're seeing those that wanted to move take their homes off the market. So you are seeing low inventory only because now there's just less to choose from, because those that are now on the market really need to move. Relocation, divorce, financial. So now is the time that the local buyer really starts looking for the deal.
Okay.
And oftentimes we can see as much as a 10% change in price between the height of the spring and summer to the lowness of the fall and winter.
Really? Wow.
It's also a great time to go in and get a really great deal on new construction. The farther we get into the fall season, we do start to see a little bit of relocation tick around October, especially by Thanksgiving, looking to make those Christmas moves. So at that time, we'll start to see a little bit of tick. But as we progress through the fall season into the winter season, it's also a great time to get a good deal on new construction because they want those homes off the books.
A North County thing? I mean, is that
every
pretty
market
unique
is different,
right?
And new construction will affect. Not every part of San Diego has new construction.
Right.
We do have a considerable amount going on in North County right now, which is great.
The right amount?
I think it's a nice balance because it's also spurring that move-up buyer to maybe go and buy a luxury home. It's a lot of luxury going on in North County right now. So it's spurring that move-up buyer, which is then opening up the lower segments, the millennials, the entry-level home, because those folks are going off and buying new construction.
You know, the move-up buyer is such an opportunity right now. We don't touch up on it enough, and I really want to take a moment to explain why I truly believe this is a great market if you're trying to get into that premier home.
Yes.
And the reason I mention that is we know housing's gone up, right? Equity is increased in your home. There's a lot of value there that can be repositioned into a bigger, better home as a down payment. what people tend to ignore is how low interest rates are. So if you're paying off a mortgage as a 4.5 and you're taking 300 grand and putting it as a down payment and you're getting a 4, it absorbs a lot of that bigger house payment. So there's a lot of opportunity there. And I also wonder in 2-3 years, whenever interest rates go up and they're 5-6%, how many people are going to say, well, I have a 4%, I'm going to go move up. So I think we might have challenges. So here's my point. If you're considering moving up in the next few years, you might stimulate that process and move it up a little bit quicker because of the unique environment of low interest rates. And Mary can help you do that. And I'm glad you brought that point up. So last time we had you on the show, we went out to you. Then we visited your team. You're at the Tom Ferry event. Tom Ferry is just an amazing guy who is a leader in the real estate industry. Had thousands of people there at this event. And we stepped outside the convention center. We just talked about some of the unique things from that market. I remember you said, Craig, I got something that's just going to blow people's minds. I can't wait to talk about it on the show. Recently, you sent an email. Then you sent in another email. So
I get kind of excited about these things.
What is this thing that you have going on now? It's time to share it.
Time to share. So we are actually here on the show today to announce that we're going to be doing San Diego's first ever virtual open house.
Okay.
Haven't seen anyone else in the market doing this. We've partnered with a company out of New York City, and we will be launching the first ever virtual open house here on September 26th.
Explain how a virtual open house can work. So we're in a digital age now where the real estate game's changed. Throwing a sign in the yard and hoping people show up for brownies and are going to buy the house, that's old school. Now you have this global economy that's looking at things online.
Right.
Social media, which you're huge in, a big following there. And you should follow Mary on social media. Great posts about the real estate market. Again, works hard and plays hard. A lot of fun stuff there too.
Lots of food posts. Yeah,
food posts, the pool, and then some. But you're talking about a virtual open house. So
we're
hearing
always,
I kind of get it, but explain what that even means.
So, we're always looking at what's happening in other industries and looking at technology and innovation, because to stay competitive and one step ahead in real estate, it's changing so quickly. So innovation-wise, I have a great number of people on my team that are way smarter than me. You always hire smarter than you, right?
Hey, look at this show. I just peddle you guys in here. I mean, I get it.
And so the guys on the team were utilizing Periscope.
Yes.
And I thought, wow, this is just such a great tool when they were doing one client at a time. Now, consider Periscope for real estate. However, the problem with Periscope is they go away. They're not saved. So when you walk someone through a tour of a home, there's no way to go back and look at it again. Oh, honey, what color was that? What kind of cabinet did it have? So with this new technology that we're going to be using, we can have an unlimited number of people on an open house at one time in the comfort of their own home, from any city, any country in the world, in their pajamas, on their phone, on their iPad, on their computer, as we walk them through this home.
So you're actually going to be there walking around the house doing an open house.
It's a live TV show.
Wow.
Basically, it's a live open house. They can ask questions. They can make notes of what they're seeing, things that they like, things that they don't like. And then the tour is saved. They can go back, they can watch it again, they can rate the house, they can keep an account of all the tours that they're watching, and they can go back, see them again, ask additional questions. And then we can also set up private open home tours. So if you're in St. Louis and wanting to see a home in San Diego, you see the virtual open house with everyone, then we can set up a private open house and answer your specific questions and walk you back through.
So I encourage you to visit Mary online. You can learn more about that. We were talking earlier about the North County marketplace.
Yes.
Give us an example of a listing that you have. I know you have a lot, but give us an example of what's going on up there.
Yes, and we brought a video today of the home that we're actually going to be doing the virtual open house on. This is a very unique home. It offers multi-generational living. It has a 500 square foot fully contained casita, as well as ocean views, a 4,100 square foot main house. I mean, it's just a spectacular home, which I know is going to garner a lot of interest for this virtual open house.
Now, if only I could just figure out what a casita is.
So a detached, separate house. It's 500 square feet Bedroom, bathroom, washer dryer hookups, its own kitchen.
So it could be a rental. You could have families stay there. You could bank an office space. Awesome.
Anything. College student that wants some independence. We're seeing more and more parents coming to live. We're the sandwich generation. We've got children in college that are boomeranging back, but then we also have the aging parent that we also need to take care of.
Wow,
so this is a great option to combine two households into one property. It's very unique to Santa Leo Hills. And so on September 26th, we're going to show it off. People can go to hometownrealtylive.com.
So this is where we're going to see the first ever virtual open house in San Diego.
In San Diego.
Love it. Well, Mary, thanks for helping us understand the market. North County.
Absolutely.
Excited about the virtual open house and certainly this listing and any other one you have. So congratulations on all your success. Appreciate you coming in here.
Thank you.
All right, coming up next, we're bringing in a good friend of the show, Tim Skoglund. We have visited this guy out at his home. We've been out on golf courses in Santa Luz with him. He's going to help us understand some of the things going on in a very specific, quaint market here in San Diego. You'll learn all about it if you stick around watching The American Dream back here in just a moment.